Okay, I need someone's help. I need someone's help who can help me with a Raspberry Pi kind of thing, the little mini computers. I'm stuck here until spring. I can't leave in December. I can't get a mortgage from a bank because they say my DTI is too high and they want me to commit financial suicide before they'll even attempt to approve me, so I can't do that. Hard money lenders won't help me because the loan amount that I need is too small. And local banks who will do contingencies on my DTI and will give me a loan that's small won't give me a loan on any of the houses that I'm looking at because none of them will pass an FHA or USDA inspection. So I'm kind of stuck. So here's what I need help with. As you know, I have this adult bookstore. There's booths in the back. They're peep shows. So people come in, they drop quarters, they watch movies. We have a system, a video system called Video Go Round. It's a large brain box. Think of it as a dedicated electronic computer kind of thing that has cards in it. And each of these cards goes to one booth. So one card per booth. And there's also 23 inputs on the back. And those inputs allow you to plug VCRs into them. Of course, we eventually upgraded to DVD players, and now I'm using solid-state flash drive players. The problem is that Video Go Round system is failing. I am down to 5 booths working out of 12, or 6 booths working out of 12. I think I just got one more going. I don't have the skill to fix the equipment. It's custom electronics designed by my dad and his electronics guy, who are both now dead. And this kind of a system is a mortgage level purchase. You're talking, $200,000 to $250,000 to buy a system for this. So I can't replace it. So what I'm trying to figure out how to do, I know the hardware can do it, but what I don't have is the software. I'm hoping somebody can help me. I can afford $500. If you're willing to take payments, I could probably do $1,000, $1,200 within a couple months. Because I know this is work. Okay, I know it's not free. I just don't have a lot of means. So I'm hoping somebody might be able to help me. If you might even be able to monetize this in the future. Because it would be I think it would be a very valuable system. I'm not sure. Basically, when you go into a booth, you drop a quarter. It turns on. When you go into the booth, it's playing like a standardized screen. It just says Video Go Round. We have this many screens. It's not a movie. It's just like a slideshow. So that could be either a folder of JPEGs or it could be just a video file of a specific name. So call it intro.mpg or MP4. Something. Just it's a file that whenever nobody is watching anything, this is what it plays, and it just loops it over and over again. When they drop a quarter, it turns off the intro and then engages the video inputs from the VCRs, DVD players, now flash drive players. So one of the 23 channels that are plugged in to the system. There's a channel button, so they can change channels. Okay, and when you press the button, it switches to the different video inputs. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, which is video input 1, 2, and 3. And the audio, of course, to go with it. So imagine plugging 23 televisions or 23 DVD players into your TV, and when you went to channel 1, 2, 3, you're just switching between VCR 1, VCR 2, VCR 3. Okay, that's what the system does. Each time you drop a quarter, it trips a relay, and that relay tells the brain quarter was dropped, and it adds another minute and a half of time to the booth. So each time you drop a quarter, you get 90 seconds. I think one of them is 2 minutes, one was 60 seconds. I'm going to make them all 90 seconds. I can't even do that now because the brain box is malfunctioning so much I can't even see the displays. They don't light up, and it's too complicated for me to attempt to figure out what's wrong with it. I would destroy it, and then I'd be screwed. I need this system to pay my mortgage because the money that system makes is what pays for the house that I can't afford, especially over the wintertime. So what I need help with is somebody who can assist me in designing a single booth peep show system. Okay, what I want to do is I want to take a Raspberry Pi and plug its HDMI or whatever cable into a single screen. And then plug the relay for the quarter drop. So when they drop a quarter and it triggers that little electrical relay, plug the output for that relay into the Raspberry Pi. When the Raspberry Pi boots up, it should read the SD card or USB drive. I would use a thumb drive. I have a big bag of thumb drives I use for the booth. So we change, the thumb drives with the different movies on them. I just basically I take a DVD. I don't want to show the picture of this, but I take a DVD, I rip it to the thumb drive. All legal. We have permission from all the manufacturers to do that. And then each thumb drive has one movie on it, goes into the flash player. Well, instead, what I want to do is put 20 movies on one thumb drive and then just copy that thumb drive 10 times. So every booth will be an independent system by itself. And that'll be simple because I can just buy a $50 Raspberry Pi and just convert one booth at a time as I'm able to, as I get money. Put the 10 movies on the thumb drive, 20 movies on the thumb drive, whatever number of movies I want. Put them on the thumb drive and put the thumb drive in the Raspberry Pi. Now, the idea would be the Raspberry Pi would play the intro movie all the time. If the Pi is on, play the file. No exceptions. The moment it powers on, play the file. Just, if it's not doing anything, play the file. When someone drops a quarter and the relay is triggered, it would then switch to playing any of the other files. Ideally, starting with the last file that was played. So if somebody was on file 3 and time runs out, it would stop playing the file and it would switch back to playing the intro file. If someone dropped a quarter again, it would resume playing the file right where it left off. We'll get more on that later. And then if they hit the channel up, channel down button, so that would be 2 more relays that would have to be plugged into this Raspberry Pi, so I would need 3 inputs. If they hit channel up or channel down, it'll cycle through the files. So if there's 20 files on there and you hit channel up, channel up, channel up, it'll go to next file, next file, next file, as if you're switching channels, but what you're really doing is switching video files. I need a system that will do that. So they walk in, it's playing some kind of standard intro file. When they drop a quarter, it switches to playing video files. So I can have maybe 2 folders on the thumb drive, one called intro, one called content. And when there's no time on the system, it plays intro. When there is time on the system, it switches over and plays whatever video files happen to be in the content folder. Now, that's all I really need. Okay, now if it's possible, I would like the Raspberry Pi to keep a running time clock. So it should keep a round-the-clock running time clock of as if these files were always playing. So when I come in the morning and I turn on the system, all of the files are going to be obviously at 0 time. Okay? Now it's not going to play those files, but it's going to pretend it's playing those files. So if 3 hours go by and there's a 4-hour movie that you select, it will start you off at the 3-hour mark. Okay? And if your time runs out and you come back 15 minutes later, it will play that file as if it had always been playing, so it would be at the 3-hour 15 mark. So because otherwise, every time they drop a quarter, it's going to restart the file from 0. So they'll be saying the same portion of the movie every time they drop a quarter, and that wouldn't work too well. So I need the system to pretend that it says, okay, my uptime is 16 hours. This file is 2 hours long. So that means this file has played 8 times, and we're now 12 minutes into the 9th time, so start the file at 12 minutes, as if it had been playing all morning. Because otherwise I then have to add more complicated functions like fast forward rewind, like a skip, 30-second skip, or a 1-minute skip, so they can go forward, minute, backward, minute in the file. I'm hoping it might be possible to create that in the background time index so that it can look at its start time and the current time and pretend that one file has been looping this whole time and put you right in the spot where you would be if that file had been looping all this time. So when you change channels, it'll do the same thing for each file. Put you where you were if that file had been looping since time 0, which is boot up time. If that's not practical, then I need the ability to skip time. So they can pick the channel they want and then have, I guess, if it's possible, 4 buttons. 4 relay inputs for a 1-minute skip and a 5-minute skip. So they can just go, 1 1 1 1, 5 5 5 5 5 1 to jump ahead in the file where they want to watch the movie. That's very less than ideal, because that's just not the way these systems work. But if that's all that can be done, fine. But I need a way of restoring these booths to function. And I have to be able to use the, drop a quarter, add time. And that's the other thing it needs to do. If a person drops a quarter, I need to give them 90 seconds of time. If they have 10 seconds left and they drop another quarter, it needs to add 90 seconds to the existing time, so now they have 100 seconds. Okay? If they drop 4 quarters, then they need 6 minutes of time. You see what I mean? So that needs to be part of the program. So if anybody can help me with that, or if you know anybody who might be willing to help me with that as a fun project, and I can pay them a token amount of money, like I said, I can put $500 on a credit card to PayPal right now. I don't have much more than that. If I had a month or two, I could probably come up with $1,000, $1,200, maybe. If they're willing to work with that as an interesting project kind of thing, I hope. Let me know. I'm hoping somebody can help me with that. So let me know if you have any questions. Send them to me, Twitter, here, whatever. This will be an unlisted video because I realized it would take me 30 Twitter messages to say all of this, so I'm making this video and then I'm going to link the video on Twitter. So I'm hoping somebody can help me with this. So the idea would be I would come in with a thumb drive that has an intro file on it and any number of movies from 1 to 100. Just a folder full of movies. Okay. Ideally, I would want it to play ISO files. So if you take a DVD and you rip it to an ISO, because that's what we already do for the current systems, be able to play those ISO files. MPEG-2. It's basically MPEG-2. So it has to be able to play MPEG-2, because it would just take an eternity to convert the movies to another format, like an MP4. That would just take forever, so it has to be MPEG-2 compatible. No DSS or encryption or anything like that. It's just raw MPEG-2 VOP files in an ISO file. If anybody can help me with that, let me know. I'd appreciate it. And, I understand if you don't want your name attached to it because of this kind of business, but it also might be a way for you to make money. You might be able to sell this to people, as a ready-to-go system that they might actually be interested in if you refine it enough. Because these systems are desperately in need of an update. I mean, this system here is 40 years old. My dad and his electronics buddy designed it. The guy was a genius. Not my dad, the electronics guy. But they're both dead. I have no plans for it. I have no blueprint. I have a second brain, but the power's not connected, and I don't even know where the power wires go. And I can't dare take apart the one that's running, because number one, I wouldn't know what I was looking at inside, and number two, if that system failed completely, I'm screwed. So, if anybody can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. I can go into whatever details you need, but it sounds like a simple system to me in my head, but I'm not a programmer, so I know sometimes programming is quite a bit more complicated than saying it. So, let me know if you can help.